The mundane clinking of champagne glasses and the forced laughter of partygoers shatter as an unseen force rips open reality. A glowing green portal, jagged and humming with impossible energy, tears through the living room wall. From its swirling depths step figures in sleek, gray uniforms, their faces devoid of emotion, their movements precise and terrifyingly efficient. They are not here for the party. They are here for one man, a man currently attempting to make an impassioned, albeit slightly off-key toast. Wade Wilson, in a cheap suit and a rictus grin, freezes mid-sentence, his eyes widening not with fear, but with a flicker of recognition, a memory of a life he thought he'd left behind. The Temporal Variance Authority has arrived, their purpose ominous and clear, to extract him from his carefully constructed, utterly ordinary existence. Their focus is singular, their intent unyielding, and the party descends into stunned silence as their leader, a stern woman with an air of absolute authority, points directly at Wade. Before the multiversal intrusion, Wade's days are a carefully curated tapestry of the unremarkable. Mornings begin not with daring feats of heroism, but with the clatter of a coffee maker and the gentle hum of a carpool. He's a salesman now, peddling used cars at a dealership called Wilson's Wheels. The vibrant, chaotic energy that once defined him is muffled under sensible sweaters and practiced smiles. He navigates the daily grind with a self-deprecating wit, a defense mechanism against the quiet desperation that nips at the edges of his soul. He's good at the job, surprisingly so, charming customers into buying vehicles they probably don't need. But there's a hollowness in his eyes, a yearning for something more, something that pulses just beneath the surface of his everyday life. He misses the thrill, the fight, the unadulterated mayhem, even as he pretends he doesn't. His new life is a deliberate choice, a promise kept to the people he loves. Vanessa, his true north, is still by his side, her laughter a comforting balm to his scarred existence. Together, they've built a life that, on the surface, appears idyllic. They share a cozy apartment, bicker playfully over breakfast, and endure family dinners with friends. His circle includes Colossus, still a steadfast moral compass, and Negasonic teenage warhead, who offers her usual brand of sarcastic support. Even Peter, the utterly normal member of his former team, is a fixture, providing a grounding influence. Wade truly tries to embrace this domesticity. He throws himself into selling cars, perfecting his pitch, even attempting to form bonds with his colleagues. But the mundane feels like a cage, a gilded one perhaps, but a cage nonetheless. He watches the news, eyes lingering on reports of distant crises, a primal instinct stirring within him. Late at night, when Vanessa is asleep, Wade sometimes pulls out his old suit. Not the full, iconic red and black, but a faded, patched-up version, hidden in the back of his closet. He runs a gloved hand over the worn fabric, the rough texture of phantom limb, a memory of power and purpose. He sees reflections of his former self in the moonlight, the mercenary, the wisecracker, the hero or anti-hero, depending on who you ask. The conflict within him is palpable. The desire to protect his loved ones by remaining normal versus the undeniable pull of his true nature. The part of him that thrives on chaos and justice, however skewed. He misses the visceral thrill of a fight, the quick wit, the freedom of not caring what anyone thinks. This internal struggle is a silent battle, fought every day, every moment, threatening to unravel his carefully constructed peace. Subtle cracks begin to appear in his mundane facade. Strange occurrences, dismissed by others as coincidences, register with Wade as something more. A flicker of distortion on the television during a news report about inexplicable weather patterns. A moment when a stranger's face seems to shimmer, just for an instant. He attributes these to stress, to his imagination, but deep down, a part of him knows. His mutant healing factor, usually a silent servant, sometimes tingles with an unidentifiable energy, a premonition of something vast and overwhelming on the horizon. He brushes it off, focusing on closing another deal, on making Vanessa laugh, on maintaining the illusion of normalcy. But the universe, it seems, has other plans, and the whispers of his past grow louder, insistent, threatening to pull him back into a world he swore he'd left behind forever. He can feel the threads of reality fraying around him. And then the party. A birthday celebration. A joyous occasion meant to solidify his new, ordinary life. Wade, mid-toast, recounting an embellished anecdote about selling a particularly troublesome minivan, feels the familiar, sickening lurch as reality itself begins to unravel. The air crackles with an unnatural energy. The lights flicker, and a gaping maw of green and purple light tears through the wall, spilling temporal energy into the room. The arrival of the TVA agents isn't just an interruption. It's an intervention. Their leader, a formidable woman with an air of absolute authority, steps forward, her gaze fixed solely on Wade. There's no negotiation, no explanation, just a cold, unwavering certainty in her voice as she addresses him directly. She holds up a glowing, handheld device, its display showing intricate temporal schematics, and points a definitive finger. "Wade Wilson," she states, her voice echoing with an otherworldly resonance. "Your timeline has been deemed an anomaly. You're coming with us." Wade tries to deflect, to charm, to even crack a joke, but the agents are impervious to his usual tactics. They move with an unsettling synchronicity, their weapons humming with contained power. His friends and loved ones watch in stunned silence, their faces a mixture of confusion and horror. Vanessa rushes forward, but is gently, firmly, held back by an unseen barrier. Wade feels a strange mix of dread and exhilaration. This is it. The ordinary life, the carefully constructed peace, is over. He is being pulled back into the fray, into the multiversal chaos he thought he'd escaped. The TVA leader explains with chilling brevity that his presence is creating dangerous ripples across the timelines, that his reality is collapsing, and that he is deemed too important to simply be pruned. He is a variant of interest. Before he can fully process the implications, before he can even utter a proper farewell, he is surrounded. The world blurs, the party fading into an indistinct swirl of light and sound. He feels a powerful, irresistible force pulling him forward, away from everything he knows, into the unknown depths of the multiverse. His new, quiet life shattered irrevocably. The blinding white light resolves into an oppressive, sterile void. Deadpool, still reeling from his mundane birthday party, finds himself not dead, but suspended in a featureless expanse. Two figures in sleek, gray uniforms materialize, their faces impassive. They are agents of the Time Variance Authority, a revelation that barely registers with Wade as he's more concerned with the lack of chimichangas in this afterlife. One agent, a stern woman with a perpetually unamused expression, explains their presence. They have plucked him from his timeline, not for judgment, but for a proposition. His timeline, they inform him, is on the brink of collapse, a sacred timeline that has deviated too far from its intended path. Wade, ever the irreverent one, cracks wise about bureaucracy and the cosmic lottery, completely missing the gravity of the situation. The TVA isn't here to punish him for past transgressions, but to recruit him. He remains skeptical, his default mode for anything resembling authority. The implication of his entire reality unraveling is a concept too vast for his usual sarcastic retorts. They lead him to a circular chamber, dominated by a holographic projection of a branching, glowing line that pulses erratically. This is a visual representation of his timeline, they explain, and its imminent destruction. The agent points to a specific Nexus event, a moment in his past that, if left uncorrected, will lead to the utter annihilation of his reality. Deadpool, seeing his world represented as a fragile thread, finally begins to grasp the weight of their words. He still makes jokes, of course, but a flicker of genuine concern crosses his masked face. The TVA's proposition is simple. They want him to prevent this Nexus event. They offer him resources, access to technologies beyond his comprehension, and a chance to truly make a difference, to become a hero in the grandest sense, albeit a reluctant one. The stern agent, known as Paradox, explains that while they usually prune divergent timelines, his particular spark makes him uniquely suited to mend this tear. He's a wild card, unpredictable, and that's precisely what they need. He's a glitch in their system that they believe can fix another glitch. Wade, After much deliberation and a surprisingly heartfelt internal monologue, agrees. The motivation isn't entirely selfless. The idea of his friends, his life, simply ceasing to exist is a powerful incentive, even for him. He's handed a device, a sleek metallic gauntlet that apparently allows him to manipulate localized temporal anomalies. A fancy way of saying he can mess with time within strict limits. He's given a brief, bewildering training session, trying to wrap his head around concepts like causality and temporal displacement while still attempting to flirt with the stoic TVA agents. His first mission is deceptively simple. Locate a specific anomaly within his timeline and neutralize it before it escalates. The TVA opens a shimmering portal, revealing a glimpse of his familiar, yet subtly altered, New York City. He steps through armed with a newfound, albeit confusing, purpose. The weight of an entire reality now rests, improbably, on his scarred shoulders. The stakes are higher than any chimichanga run, higher than any revenge plot he's ever cooked up. He's a hero, whether he likes it or not, tasked with saving everything he knows. Back in his timeline, everything feels subtly off. The colors are muted, the sounds a little too quiet. He lands in a deserted alleyway, a stark contrast to the bustling city he remembers. Following the gauntlet's readings, he navigates the eerily silent streets, his usual banter replaced by a focused, almost grim determination. The device pulses with increasing intensity, leading him to a dilapidated theater. Inside, the air crackles with an unnatural energy. A shimmering distortion hangs in the center of the stage, a swirling vortex of purple and black, slowly expanding. This is the Nexus event, the focal point of his reality's impending doom. He can feel its pull, a subtle disorientation that threatens to unravel his own sense of self. The gauntlet indicates that the anomaly is feeding on something, a powerful temporal energy signature that is both familiar and deeply unsettling. He prepares for combat, drawing his katanas, the familiar weight a small comfort in the face of this cosmic threat. He knows he's out of his depth, but there's no turning back now. The fate of his world hangs in the balance, and he's the only one who can stop it. As he cautiously approaches the vortex, the energy intensifies, throwing off sparks of raw temporal power. The gauntlet's readings spike, indicating a massive, unstable energy signature emanating from within the distortion. It's not just a tear in reality. It's a doorway, and something is on the other side. He can almost make out a shape, a vague, hulking silhouette at the heart of the maelstrom. It's a presence that radiates raw power, danger, and a profound sense of loss. He tightens his grip on his katanas, adrenaline coursing through him. This isn't just an abstract anomaly. It's a living, breathing entity, one that is actively destabilizing his entire existence. The vortex suddenly roars, and the silhouette within solidifies, becoming clearer. It's a figure he recognizes, a face etched with decades of pain and fury, claws extended, radiating an aura of untamed savagery. It's Wolverine, but not the one he knows. This version is older, grittier, his costume tattered and his eyes burning with an unfamiliar intensity. He's a variant, a displaced echo from another timeline, and he's the source of the temporal anomaly. He is the Nexus event. Wolverine steps fully out of the vortex, his adamantium claws glinting in the dim light of the theater. He surveys his surroundings with a feral intensity, his gaze eventually locking onto Deadpool. There's no recognition in his eyes, only suspicion and a primal readiness for a fight. He's not here to talk. He's here to survive. Deadpool, momentarily stunned by the revelation, tries to explain, to de-escalate, but Wolverine is beyond reason. He charges, a growl rumbling deep in his chest. Deadpool barely dodges the first swipe of his claws, the sharp metal tearing through the air where he stood moments before. This is not the friendly sparring they've had in the comics. This is a genuine, life-or-death struggle. Wolverine is a force of nature, a whirlwind of muscle and adamantium, and he's determined to cut down anything that stands in his way. Deadpool realizes the TVA wasn't just sending him to fix a problem. They were sending him to confront a living weapon, a temporal anomaly with a healing factor and a very bad temper. This fight is just beginning, and the fate of his entire reality depends on the outcome.